This is a Raspberry Pi. It's the Pi 2 Model D. Together with it I have this memory card, 128 gigabytes. In this video I will show how to use this computer together with the Perseus for medium wave DXing. And the big size of the memory card is because I want to use it to record long files that will record the entire medium wave band for a long time. To use this computer I need also this adapter and this cable to be able to connect a screen to it. And there are other alternatives, but this is the way I'm going to do it. And finally, this is a USB power supply that will give 5 volts to the unit. And of course, for medium wave DXing, far away from a mains power, which is desirable, you can run the Perseus and this Raspberry Pi from the same 5 volt source, suitably some 12 to 5 volt DC-DC converter that could be put inside a metal box with the ground connected to the case and good filtering on the 12 and the 5 volt side. That would provide a very high efficiency and a very low power consumption. As a first step I have to format the memory card. So I insert it here. And then I insert it into this USB adapter. And finally plug it in the computer. Is it this way? Like this. I'm running Windows 10, which I'm not very familiar with. Settings, and find a setting. I want disk management. This one. And it takes some time. Here we are. Well, I make it big. And you can see there are many disks and many partitions, but the external one, removable, it has 119 gigabytes unallocated. So I click on it, right click on it, and make a new simple volume. And the size has to be small. I make it 25,000 megabytes. That's 25 gigabytes. Yes, I want to do that. Next. And FAT32. The reason the partition has to be small is that the Raspberry Pi cannot manage the file systems for larger files. Next. Finish. So I will get the partition here pretty soon. New volume R:, 24 gigabytes. Very good. I go to raspberrypi.org/downloads and I go for no obs, new out of the box. Click on that and download the zip file. And this will take some time, so I will wait. Download is finished. I use the, where is it? File Explorer down here. And then downloads. And this is the no obs version 1.9.2, well, underscore, not the dot points. I right click on it, extract all, and two R colon, odd, it occurs twice. I don't know what that means, but I pick one of them, this one, or maybe that one. Well, they look very much the same. So I go there and extract this to this folder. Files will be extracted. Extract. And then I have to wait for a while again. Now copy is complete. And it's clear that the new volume R colon, I've used a very small fraction of it to upload this operating system. I made 25 gigabytes and 24.5 is unused. So I take out this card from this adapter and then the small memory card from this thing, and here's the memory card, and I put it into the Raspberry Pi. On the back side. So, and now we're ready to go. Now I have connected the 5-volt power supply, the screen, Ethernet, and mouse and keyboard, the two USB things here. And then I see on the screen this. And I go for Raspbian, recommended as they say. Click here and install. Language English, keyboard Great Britain, no. I have a Swedish keyboard, so I have to select well, something doesn't work properly. I have to use the arrow keys. Here is my keyboard. Maybe I press enter. Yes. Keyboard Swedish. Language English. So install. Presumably I am supposed to click on install here. This will install the selected operating system and erase everything else. That's exactly what I want, yes. And please wait, so I'm waiting. After a while, this is what happens, and I click on OK. Now the Linux desktop has appeared. I start by opening the terminal window here and see whether there are any new upgrades. That's apt minus get update. So I have to be root to do this. So first I have to set the password for root. Then I enter a password here. And once more. And then I change to the super user. Set user root. And enter the password. And now I can see whether there are any upgrades. So it's looking on the internet in the archive at raspberrypi.org. And now I try to upgrade if there were any new upgrades. Need to get 178 megabytes of archives. So I do this upgrade, that press yes. Now I will install Linrad here. To do that I get the subversion program, so I fetch it. Apt get install. Like that. And yes. Now I will download the source code for Linrad. Go to sm5bsz.com and click on the link Linrad here. And then this command, copy this and paste it into the command window where we just recently have installed Subversion. And here comes the source code for Linrad. So I descend into the new directory Linrad, change directory, LE tab, and type dot slash what dot slash configure. That's the first to install Linrad from the source. And there is no sound system. We need to install sound. to do that, use the command configure with help. You can copy and paste. And here, not present, libasound.so. And what we have now is a version of Debian, Raspbian. So I take this command, copy that and paste. Now I have run configure again after having installed sound. So there is sound but no screen. And I can install one or the other or both. So I will install both of them to show what is the difference between these two alternatives. So to know how to do configure with help, and libx11, that's what we need for x11, so it's this one. Copy and paste. Yes. I have now run configure with help again, and now the last part of it shows that the libvga.so is missing, and I want to install this from source. The package that could be installed from the repository of Raspberry doesn't work. Copy this and paste. And now compilation takes some time. The compilation of SVGA lib ends with an error. That doesn't matter. That is programs that are not going to be used. Now I run configure again. Sorry, I have to go back to the Linrad directory and run Linrad, run configure from here. And now what I need to use the Perseus, it's libperseus, that I have to install, and I will install also libxext, because that is something that makes the x11 run faster. So I run configure with help to get the install instruction for these 3 packages, or maybe even some more packages will turn out to be required. libxext is this one. Copy that and paste. And yes. And then I can go backwards to look at the output. Where was it? libperseus SDR. Install libusb 1.0 before. So this is here, and Debian install this thing. I don't know what's wrong with this mouse. Sometimes I have a problem. Copy and paste. And go down the screen. Yes. After that I run configure with help again and get information about libUSB, which is not needed. Now for the lib Perseus SDR, install automake first. So Debian, it's this. Copy and paste. Yes. And now configure with help. Lib Perseus SDR. First install libtool. Well, many things are needed to get the library for Perseus. And you get the install instructions one by one, like this. And I don't know why the mouse behaves like this, or rather misbehaves. Odd. Okay. Copy and then again paste. Yes. And then I run configure with help again. Install the Perseus library like this. So I copy all of that. Sorry, all from there to there. Copy and paste. And this takes some time. Now the Perseus library is installed, but I have to run configure once more, because configures is changing the files that do the compilation of Linrad. So Linrad will now be aware of the presence of everything it needs to use the Perseus. And I have connected the Perseus, so I run make Linrad. Sorry, make x Linrad. That is what I have to type now with this version. It might be make Linrad, but you can always press just make to get the instructions of what the commands are. And this takes a long time. Now the Linrad installation is complete. I want to run it first with the front buffer device. To do that I have to exit from X11. And that is with Ctrl Alt F2, for example. This brings a terminal window for the entire screen. So I log in here as root and give my password. And then go to the Linrad directory. Home by Linrad. And then run Linrad /xl tab, enter. And we are running in terminal mode, and I want to use the front buffer device, so I say D. And here we are, and I tell Linrad I'm a newcomer, and enter. Mouse speed, let's make that 1. Don't forget to save the parameters. Enter and W to save. And I need to change battery in the camera now. First I have to set up input and output. That is U. And the sound system is ALSA. That is 0. And A to select the input. And C to select the Perseus. A Perseus was detected. I want to use it, yes. Press any key. And I have told the system I'm a newcomer, I'm not allowed to run more than 1 megahertz, so I put 7 here. And then B to select the output. And I don't want to use port audio. It isn't installed, so it wouldn't work anyway. No. And this is the Raspberry. I'm not really so familiar with it, but I guess number 0 is what is going to be the loudspeaker. And then X, don't forget, press anything and press W to save. So now Linrad should work with the Perseus. I press F for AM mode. And then I come to the parameter setup screen because this is a new installation. This time I just press enter and then enter and then enter to take default parameters. And the default frequency is 7 megahertz. I make it, let's say, 1 megahertz to come to the medium wave band. So I move the mouse to some strong station and click on it. And you can hear its sound is stuttering. I get some error messages here, and looking down here there is the timing information. It says I'm using 34% of the capacity, but 87% of 1 core. And this is not okay because I selected the default parameters. So I have to do something a little bit more clever. I press yes, X to leave this, and then P for parameters, and the first forward FFT version, I cannot change it, and I cannot change the number of B threads. So the only thing I can do here is to change the first FFT bandwidth. So I change it to 1 kilohertz. And accept everything else and press on the signal again. And this is better. But load is still pretty high, and I'm running only 1 megahertz. So I will change to become a normal user. X, and then S. Here I press Y to change to normal mode, and then no to not become an expert. And then enter font scale. I can make it a little bit bigger than normal, let's say 4, to make it easier to see on the camera. Mouse speed reduction factor 1, and I don't want Linrad to block anything, so I put 0. set process priority, normal, that's 0. And I don't want any auto start, that's Z. And again, don't forget, so I press W to save this. And now I go to the AM screen again, that's F. And it takes some time for the Perseus to wake up. I click on the station. And of course, it's the same as before, because I haven't changed any parameters yet. 60%. I press T. That is to get more timing information. And we can see the dominating thing is wideband signal processing down here, 60%. I want to make that smaller. X and P. And now I'm a normal user, so I can try different forward FF3 versions. And usually the higher number, the faster is the processing. But this can be different on different computers, and it can depend on what is the bandwidth and what is the window. And then there is another thing. This computer has 4 CPU cores, so I can allow up to 4 threads for doing the first FFT, so they can be done in parallel. Maybe 4 is not the optimum, but on the other hand it isn't very critical, but you want at least 2 here. And then I keep the rest and click on something. And this is much better. The worst load, the worst thread is 16% only, but the total load is 29. I have distributed the work on all the 4 cores. And now it's time to X and U to change the parameters for the Perseus. So that is A and C, and I want to use it, and I want 1.6 megahertz for the medium wave, that is the suitable bandwidth, so that is number 8. Sampling clock shift. I don't know by how much the sampling clock is shifted from the nominal 80 megahertz. So I put a 0 here. Enable preselector, yes. Enable preamp, no. That isn't really a preamp, it's just a lower reference voltage for the AD converter. Enable jitter, yes. And then the output was deselected. I have to select it again. That's B. And no port audio. And 0. And then I press X. And save. And now go for the AM band again. That's F. And I press enter. And I have to set up things again. So I put 3 here. And let's say I make this bandwidth 500 Hertz. And number of threads, 4. And here is the medium waves. I go out here and press that arrow a couple of times. Now I have the full 1.6 megahertz frequency span. I might move the frequency a little bit. Let's say I go down here and make it 0.88 megahertz to get some part of long waves down here, for example. And I don't think there are any interesting stations above 1.7 megahertz or so. Well, this is for the operator to decide. And you can see here the bandwidth is only 5 kilohertz. I open it to fit the spectrum of this station. The Raspberry Pi makes the screen black after 15 minutes or something like that. That's not what we want when running Linrad and making recordings and leave the system unattended for an hour or something. The easiest way to fix that is to install X-Screensaver. So I will do that. And this leads to a lot of new packages that have to be installed. Probably there are better ways of making the screen not go black, but I don't have the time to find out, so I do this. Now that X-Screensaver is installed, I use it to disable the screen saving. Screensaver. And the daemon doesn't seem to be running. Launch it now. We have to do this, yes. And then go here and set the mode disable screensaver. And now the screen will no longer get black while Linrad is running. The X-Screensaver fixes the X11, but not the terminal mode where I run with the front buffer device. So I need to do some more things. Edit this file and put blank time to 0, and also power down time to 0, and then save that. I am now running the front buffer device. Hopefully the screen will not get black suddenly anymore. I will do some little things to try to optimize timing. So I press T to get timing information. And here you can see the time by the different threads. 1, 2, 3 threads for the bulk of the first FFT. I asked for 4, but there is only 3. This is the rest of the first FFT. And we have the screen, 22. That's quite a lot. Narrow band processing, 25. In total we have 4 cores, so the sum of all this could be 400. That's percentage. But I can do some little things to make CPU load less. It's 48% in total now. First of all, averaging is done in 2 steps. Well, I turn down the sound here from BBC. Here, the number 4 here, I can increase it by clicking on it. Now it's 9. It means that averages are taken in groups of 9, and I don't need to see the spectrum jump up and down so fast. So I change here from 18 to, let's say, 180. This must be a multiple of 9. And then clear the timing counter. And the difference was small. The waterfall is as I want to have it. Maybe. I don't know. Can make it a little bit slower. Let's say 63. And I want it a little bit brighter. So I go here and put, let's say, -5. And here the filter is very sharp. That's not meaningful in this situation. I can make a easier filter that should affect the narrow band processing here. It's 25 now. Maybe not so much, but a little. So I click here to place the points a little bit further apart, like that. And then I use this arrow to see the same total bandwidth as before. And now the waterfall runs far too fast. So I make it, let's say, 50. And you can see, of course, now that the spectral resolution is not at all as good as before. And I clear the counters. And you see now the total load is 42 rather than 48 that we had before. And I'm doing this trying to save CPU time, because now I'm going to make a recording. So I press S and give a file name. Well, the time is now 20:38 on my watch. 20:38 will be the file name. And now Linrad is saving on the memory card. Now 1 hour and 15 minutes has passed. The screen is black, so the hint I got on the internet was not good enough. I move the mouse, and it doesn't help. I press the Alt key, and here we see Linrad is still running. It's still saving the file. I press S to stop file saving. And this is what we have. I can press X and then B to get back the rest of the screen. I don't know how to manage this, whatever is causing the screen to become black. It's not a deadly threat to what I'm wanting to do, but it's unpleasant. I have now returned to X11 and checked with the command DF. I'm now using 31% of the space on the memory card. So that was 1 hour 15 minutes. I can do 2 more hours or something like that. I can try to run Linrad under X11. XL./XL. and I specified that I should run it with the front buffer device, so I have to specify X11 here. And now I'm running under X11, and I go to the AM and click on something, and then I press S. No, as you can see, it doesn't work. The overhead of X11 is prohibitive. So forget about this. Escape. There is another alternative. I can use shared memory. That is MITSHM. And then AM, that's F again. And I click some station. Oh, and this works. Shared memory is much faster than the original X11. X11 is there because on some systems there isn't any shared memory. I tried to save a file here. Just give it the name X. Enter. And it seems to work. Very good. But it's not very big margin, because I tried earlier, before I did these optimizations on the screen and on the number of points on the baseband filter, and then it didn't work. So I leave it for a while. A little more than 1 hour later, the screen is still alive and Linrad is still recording. So I stop by pressing S. Now it's daytime again. The medium wave band is essentially quiet. I can hear an NDB here on 724 kilohertz. But of course we have long wave, like here. Oops, I guess we had an overtone of this one, probably generated in the receiver. Well, now I can listen to the recordings from what happened yesterday when it was dark outside. To that end, I create a file, AD file, and using the editor Joe, which is my favorite editor. And here I have to specify the recording, the file names of the recordings I made. So this is in AD file, and I will save it and then start Linrad. And here I press 1. And then I want the AM mode, that's F. And I don't want to repeat the recording, so I say no. And I don't know anything about the frequency errors. And I forgot I have to create the directory first, so I do that. After making sure that the file, that directory for saving parameters exists, I come into playing these recordings after the sequence of commands you saw just before. I change a little bit here and click to something. Oops. This can happen now and then. Just exit and start. I don't know the reason for this. So, I try again. It's necessary to follow the advice and set a longer time for the start of the output. X and P. And it's here. I set that to 2 seconds. This is not elegant, but it's a way of solving the problem at the moment. And you can hear there is a little delay after I click on a new station before it comes into the loudspeaker. So now I can do the DXing during the whole day if I want. And there is one function that might be interesting to show here. I press F. And here you can see information about the recording. So something is wrong here. Well, I had to correct something. As it turns out, long means 64-bit in x86, but it means 32-bit in the ARM processor. So I have to replace all the declarations of long variables to be long, because that's 64-bit on both systems. And now I get the correct information. So what I can do here is start playback at, let's say, 18.59.30 and stop recording at 19.0.30. That's 1 minute on top of the hour. And this error happens because this is a recording, it doesn't mean anything. So I click on a station somewhere.
Global campaigners fighting Irish abortion laws. We'll also be giving you some handy advice to avoid being robbed. That's gone viral this week. And I am 16 going on 17. We speak to the man who wooed Lisa.
So they didn't say anything at the top of the hour. Try some other station. And you can see time, how it comes here. And it was supposed to repeat here. Well, I had forgotten. It's necessary to instruct Linrad to repeat the recording. So to do that, I removed the parameter file MW and repeated the setup specifying I want the recording to be repeated infinitely. And now you can see how it behaves. So, place this minute over and over again. And I can check the different stations.
Сайт twr360.ru/999 позволяет вам оставаться в контакте с Божьим Словом с помощью компьютера, телефона или планшета. Не идите на компромисс со своей совестью.
So, I think this will be enough. This is already nearly a 1 hour long video.